26 degrees out, so thought it'd be a good day to visit a museum. So I'm up here in Chantilly on the Dulles Airport campus, going to visit the Stephen F. Udvar Air and Space Museum. It's part of the Air and Space Museum from the Smithsonian. And to let you know, it's free to get inside. It's $15 to park. And yeah, I'm gonna check this place out. Okay, made it. They made me go back to my car and leave my gimbal, so apologize. You might have some shaky footage. Also, I'm gonna have to wear this mask, but yeah, about to take a tour. I'm headed to the Boeing Aviation Hangar. The Spaceshuttle Discovery's in here. There's also a Concord jet, so our spy plane during the Cold War, and this thing was in operation 1964 until 1998. Flew missions in Vietnam. Flies at the speed of Mach 3, which is 3 times the sound barrier. 2,200 miles. It could outrun missiles. And its thin design and its special black paint made it hard to pick up by radar. And none of these were ever lost on a mission, although several died from malfunction. And they were discontinued, like I say, 1998. They were becoming too expensive to maintain. And also just upgrades of technology with satellite data made them yet less useful. Yeah, it's got a titanium frame. There's a glider up there, another spy plane. All right, over here is the Amram missile, Advanced Medium Range Air-to-Air Missile, and it's the successor to the Sidewinder. And here's the Sidewinder. This thing dates back to the 1950s. Looks like a rescue helicopter, National Guard, I'm sorry, Coast Guard.
The problem is,
okay, so I have the specs on the Blue Angel here. It's a Hornet carrier used by the Navy and Marines. Been in service since 1983, and they plan on using it until 2030. Saw action in Desert Storm, also flown missions in Iraq. Okay, entering the space hangar, and the Spaceshuttle Discovery's in here, and there's also the Gemini space module, so it should be pretty cool. There it is, the Discovery. All right, I'm gonna hear what this guy has to say. Up here you've got the thrusters used for when they would dock on the space station. And they purposely left this thing dirty. They wanted it to look like what it did when it was in use. And the material on the side is the same material that's used on spacesuits. It was in use from 1984 until 2011, and it flew 39 missions.
But what happened was that material actually damaged the reinforced part.
And some of the highlights: it delivered the Hubble Space Telescope, it flew the final mission to the Russian space station Mir, also flew the 100th shuttle mission. Here's the back of it. Over here, a couple of Mercury capsules. And imagine being stuck in that thing in outer space.
And that has the most heat-resistant property of that material, because that's where it gets the hottest, right in the nose and right on the bleeding edge of the wing.
This one's called Big Joe, flown September 9th, 1959, and this was a unmanned capsule, and it was in orbit for 13 minutes. And this is a Gemini Paraglider capsule. It's a prototype, seats 2 astronauts. Came up with this in 1961, and they had gotten the idea to try and have these capsules land on a runway rather than just parachute into the ocean, but yeah, they scratched that idea. And back there's a command module with its airbags and floating bags inflated. The Hornet 3. Huh. If you want to go camping in outer space. Oh, this is from Close Encounters of the Third Kind. This is the Red Bull Stratus capsule, and it was used by Felix Baumgartner. And it's when he set the record, became the first person to break the sound barrier while free falling. And I remember this. Also set the record for highest balloon flight. And it took 4 minutes, 19 seconds to hit the ground. This is a Falcon missile. And these little strings are to show airflow during testing. And over here, this is a Corona film return capsule. It was used by the Air Force and the CIA to take images of the Soviet Union. And it looks like there were 120 missions between 1960 and 1972. And some pretty high-tech equipment over here. And this is the Subrock anti-submarine missile. It's the Navy's first guided missile capable of underwater launch. Pretty crazy. It's a pretty vintage plane over here. Probably has some stories to tell. Sikorsky JRS-1, an amphibious seaplane. This thing was at Pearl Harbor when it was attacked. Used from 1937 until 1944. Bunch of engines. I don't know what any of this stuff means, but it looks cool. thing's pretty impressive. It is the largest, most powerful reciprocating aircraft engine in the world. So I guess these are all World War II planes over here. This is a Thunderbolt used in 1941. More German planes. And this is a German Comet used during the final year of World War II. And it is a rocket-powered interceptor. Amelia Earhart display. And down here, examples of a couple medals that were struck in her honor for her 1928 transatlantic flight and her 1932 solo transatlantic flight. And this is one of the suits she wore. And this thing's a Balanca high-winged monoplane, and it won races 1922, 1923. Yeah, the thing's pretty cool looking. Over here, this thing called the Sky Baby, and world's smallest plane. I took a flight in April of 1952. Oh, there's a vintage biplane over here. I need to find the marker on that. Oh, and here's the Concord. Found it. Boeing 307 Clipper Flying Cloud.
Look at the original 707.
Okay, yeah, Concord in service for 25 years. The first supersonic plane. Could fly twice the speed of sound, used by British and French Airways. Don't know what happened to these things. I know they had several accidents. I think they killed a lot of rich people, so they discontinued them. Oh, this thing's pretty interesting looking. Goodyear Airship Pilgrim. This looks like an early version of an airship. I have to read the plaque on that. It's a pretty interesting looking plane over there. All right, so this is a Sparrowhawk used from 1932 to 1935. Stars and Stripes, Antarctic Expedition. Have to read what that's all about. So here it is, the Fairchild Stars and Stripes, flown by Richard Byrd. Used it on 2 reconnaissance missions for mapping down to Antarctica in the 1920s and 30s. Dusty crop hopper. Okay. And looks like some type of helicopters over here. This thing over here, it's called a Hiller rototype. 1953, a single-person helicopter. It's collapsible. And over here is a flying platform. And pretty interesting, they nicknamed it the flying carpet. And to steer, you would kind of lean one direction. The Halberstrad, German fighter plane used during World War I. And a bunch of vintage planes over here. Yeah, this one's got to go way back. And okay, you see a gunner stationed there in the middle. SPAD. Yeah, introduced January 1918. Oh, Eddie Rickenbacker, I've heard of him. Yeah, fired during World War I. One of the American aces. Wow, that's very vintage. What year was that? 1912. Wow. Over here, a flying boat, it says. All right, I'm just gonna walk around these platforms and get out of here. And I'll tell you real quick, this place opened in 2003 on the 100-year anniversary of the Wright brothers' first flight. Ooh, I can breathe. And back in the windy cold. So that's it for the Air and Space Museum. And definitely well worth the price of admission. If you've got an interest in aircraft, you could spend all day in there. And for me, the highlights were the Discovery and the whole space setup in the back, the capsules, the modules. And yeah, so I'm gonna get out of here, hit the road, and see ya.